What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another beautiful Saturday. It is 5 p.m. I hope everybody is having a great day. I am your host, The Glitcher. Let me pay the bills real quick. W Energy, check them out. You want 10% off? Either type in The Glitcher Boys or Galaxy Eater, and that will get you 10% off a W and all that good stuff. It's delicious. But right now, we got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to hop right into introductions. We got up next is Galaxy Eater. How you doing, my buddy Galaxy?
Oh, I am steamed. I am esteemed as carrots in a freaking stew, man.
Yes, we got a lot to talk about. And making his triumphant return, my son Junior. How you doing over there, Junior?
I'm doing good. It's a nice Saturday afternoon. I hope you guys are having a great day.
The little dorkling asleep at the wheel as usual. But anyways, we got a lot of stuff to talk about and not a whole lot of time. We have all the time in the world. We just choose to be reasonable with it, so you guys aren't like losing your minds. So we're gonna jump right into the first topic that I feel this is really starting to anger me a lot, and I want to get this off my chest. And I know Galaxy and my son kind of feel the same way. Um, so GTA 6 pre-orders went live. Super cool. Everybody's been waiting for that game. Now it's $80 for the base game, and it's $100 because they wanted to lock some stuff behind the paywall. Now, first and foremost, I have a huge problem with that because Nintendo started doing it with some of their games, charging $80, $90 for physical, and I had a feeling Grand Theft Auto was going to do it with their $80. But if you want the whole game, that's $100. And what bothers me is these companies are doing this, and they're getting away with it because a lot of us are just paying it, and that is what's upsetting me. Is the stuff is out there and they see us paying for this stuff. They're going to start raising price all across the board, and I feel that's going to ruin gaming. I know. Now, I'm not saying you can't be excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. I know people have been waiting, people want it, and it's a good time. My problem is these companies are going to start raising prices on stuff. Because look at the Steam machine that was just announced. Look at how much that son of a bitch is. It's super expensive. It's like almost $1,100 for your basic package. So, but I gotta say, I'm gonna banter on about it, but I also want to get other people on the mix. Galaxy, what do you think, man?
So you already know how I feel. You already know where even I'm going with this, right? Like you said, Nintendo started this trend, and they're going to keep it going. They have no reason to stop. And I wouldn't say I dug a little deeper, but I definitely got a little more. I got a little more into the subject, and I'm kind of seeing the play, and I'm not liking it either. You know, like you said, they literally put the whole base game behind $100 paywall, knowing that more than 50% of the GTA fan base or even casual gamers will pay that just to get the exclusive stuff. Heck, I looked at it, I'm like, it's kind of attractive, but worth paying $100. I mean, back in the day, you paid $80 for like the next standard or the next edition up, and you actually
Yeah,
got extra things in that, not stuff that goes in the base game. And the sad part is, this is something that's been going on for at least 10 years plus. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
yeah,
Now, this is a very interesting case because I said this back then and it really made me mad. So, it was only a couple features, but it actually made the game way better. And then it gave you the playable character Mew. And if for those who are not Pokemon fans, Mew is like the one of the few Pokemon that they have released maybe like once or twice over here in the States. And that's a big deal for a franchise that's been going on for about 30 years.
mm-hmm,
So they put it behind like a $60 or $70 paywall. I don't remember how much this thing was, but it was like a extra little Pokeball controller, and the Mew was actually attached to the controller itself. But here's how the distribution worked: there was only one Mew per Pokeball. So if you got bored with it, or if this darn thing broke or whatever, you were just done with it. Like you couldn't like resell, you couldn't fix it, and then like maybe like do it like another save file, like most of the other games before it. Because that's another thing with Pokemon, with most of the distributions, as long as the ticket was on that save file, you can go ahead and you use that save file or redo the event basically. But you couldn't do that with this, which I thought was very weird. And now I know it's not the exact same, but this is actually pretty much the same thing. You put extra content behind a $20 price tag, and then you know majority of the people are gonna buy it, not just because it's like the next standard up, but you know, looking at it, the $80 one looks pretty bare.
Yeah,
And
like
it's
if
not
you, not to cut you off, but if you break it down, this is where it's getting frustrating because a lot of people are not going to see it that way. They're just going to think it's extra content. No, that's pretty much that's a chunk of a game that you're paying $100 for, dude. It's getting ridiculous that these people are ripping us off, and the sad thing is we are just feeding into it. We're jumping on it, and this is why they're not going to stop. It's like they're just going to keep putting up. Oh, they paid this. They paid this. Like the season pass, we knew that was the start of a lot of things. They were only putting out a piece of the game and stuff. And it's like, let's see if people buy into it. Well, people started buying into it. That's why we stopped getting whole games. At like pretty much mid 360 PS3, when people started doing the season pass stuff, that's where the downfall, we all saw that something that was going to be a trend that was going to carry over, and it started carrying over. And this is getting ridiculous now because Bank of America told Take-Two, which is an associate of Rockstar, saying, oh, this needs to be this. First off, I get it, it's a bank, they want their money, but why is a bank now dictating what they're gonna, how the prices should be set for games? I get it. They want their money and stuff back for all the investments and stuff. But still, it's like, these bastards are just getting greedier and greedier every day, man, because this is going to start hurting gaming. Now I know people are going to be like, oh, no, it's just a couple of games. That's how it starts, dude. That's how it starts. It was only a couple of games with the season pass. It was only... And this is how it starts. And now, before we even get to the PlayStation 6,
microtransactions.
Exactly. Then we had microtransactions. You know, by the time we get the PS6 and Project Helix launching next year, I don't know when PlayStation 6 is coming, but Project Helix is supposed to be 2027 from what they're still saying. It's tracking to be on there. What are the games going to be for this? I mean, games that they start developing for that, is it going to be $100 price tag for all that now? I mean, and the sad thing is people are paying it. People are they're all about paying, and this is where gaming is no longer going to be affordable. And you know what? I love video games, and I would very much love for the games to go back to the way they were. But if I want them to raise the price. I don't want them to, but I would think it'd be so hilarious if they raised the prices so high, thinking they got everybody, and everybody just threw up their hands and said, nope, that's too much. And they lose out on a bunch of fucking money, and they realize, oh man, maybe we shouldn't have been biting the hands that feed us, right?
Absolutely, and that's really where we are. I feel like and we're really as hardcore gamers, we're stuck in a really precarious situation because there aren't really a lot of us. You have a lot of people that come in our spaces that cosplay as us. You have these, and I'm not picking on the female. I'm not picking on any of you guys who actually do this, right? Because a lot of people game, and then you have people that game for it for like a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, if you can sit there and pay me to play video games, I'm sitting on my butt and I'm playing video games. But when it's a job, it's like a different mindset. So, of course, you're going to buy the new GTA. Of course, you're going to buy the new Call of Duty. Of course, you're going to buy the newest game that's going to get you the views, because that's what it comes down to. And I'm not saying that's like the larger portion. They're just not helping the situation. And then you have casual people that are seeing these price tags and they're just going, oh, okay, well, that's what it costs now. No, that's ignorant. And I hate to call you guys out like that, but that's just straight up ignorant. We should not be paying top dollar for mediocre stuff. I'm not saying hot garbage. I'm saying mediocre.
Yeah.
Because what Grand Theft Auto did, or what Rockstar did, is that they basically put a hard line in the sand. They said $80 is the ceiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they said if you can get away with it, you can lock your content, even more content, behind a paywall, right? Because, like I said before, this has actually been happening for years, right? And I really hate to say it, but with DLC being so great, it was actually a huge curse to video games, because now studios can or they could always cut content and just say, "Hey, now it's DLC. Now you have to pay extra for it." Right?
Yeah.
That was always the sneaky tactic. And now we're in an era where it's no longer just like a little bit of content. We're talking about missions that could go, that actually should go for the story, not extra story content, right? Actual missions that belong with the base story. We got base features that are being put behind paywalls. We have just basic things that don't exist in video games anymore, like couch co-op. There are very few games that support couch co-op anymore. And I
Yep.
understand that we live like in a different society. We live in a different world where families and people, we don't, everyone has like their own device now, right? So
Yes.
it's more common for something like that to go down. But righteously, couch co-op is what keeps families together. It's what keeps little brothers, cousins, etc., fighting with the older siblings and so on and so forth. I actually wanted to have, when I started to have kids, I wanted to be able to sit there with my son or my daughter, and I wanted to play Halo for the first time, you know, introducing them to what got me into gaming as a whole. Now that seems to be increasingly impossible. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I'm going to buy, you know, a console at almost $1,000 just for someone who's going to use it for maybe watching TV and maybe watching YouTube. That is insane. You know, you can say
Exactly.
you can do that for phones, but phones, they're multi-purpose. They're a tool. Video games are not. They're absolutely not.
Now, I want to make a statement, and since you said kids and stuff, you know, Junior's here, I'm going to get his opinion on this real quick. But, you know, you were talking about locking stuff behind DLC. Look at what happened to Dead Space 3. You didn't get the true
Mm-hmm.
ending until you bought the DLC for it. Now, that is hot damn garbage right there to get the ending. I think, was it Mass Effect 3? They also, either they ran an update to fix the ending. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
they ran
got
the update.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
they
because
did run an update.
I didn't know if that one had you had to do that because I know Final Fantasy 15 they ran an update to fix the ending. But before we
Yeah.
keep going, I want to now you're a young man, son, all right? You grown up with video games in the household everywhere. Now, you've gone through the Xbox and PS3, you've been through the PS4 and Xbox One. Now you're in the PS5, Xbox Series X generation, and the next generation's about to come out. Like I said, Helix is coming out next year, and then I don't know if PS6 is coming out. Now, you are a big fan of GTA, and you know to get the full game as 100 now. When would it be a limit for you to where you say stop? Because I think $100 is way too much. But when is it a limit for you, being that you are getting into this video game era?
I mean, I agree with my dad for real. Yeah, like $100 is too much just to get a whole game and like what did you say a couple days ago? It's like 80 just for half of the game. Yeah, 80 for half a game and then 100 for the full game. No, that's if I'm gonna pay 80, I want to get a whole game and get a good ending. I I want my money's worth, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, here's the problem though. I get it's not half the game for $80. I think I might have. It's like you're missing a couple missions, but and I get that, but you're seeing this stuff going from $70 to $80 to $100. What I mean, what's your limit? Is 100 enough, or is 100 for like just the special editions or stuff? Because what happens? Say PS6 comes out, and then Project Helix comes out. You know, the new Xbox, and standard price tag for them is $100. Is that going to be where you throw in the towel, go a different route in gaming's? Like, what's your limit?
$100.
So, and yeah, because look at what you're going to be growing up with. I mean, if all right, let me ask this: being you're a young man right now, say gaming goes up, say, and this is all hypothetical, the new Xbox is $1,500 like the Steam machine. I'm just saying it's hypothetical. I know everybody's going to jump. It's not going to be $1,500. Okay, I'm just saying hypothetical. Say the new Xbox Helix is $1,500 right out the gate, and then PS6 is $1,200 out the gate, and say standard price for video games is $100. Are you going to invest in that, or what are you going to do if, say, like the price tag keeps going up?
If the price tags just keep going up, I might just have to stop that gaming because I'm not gonna sit there and just possibly hypothetically pay 5 grand just for a console when I'm not even gonna get a game with it.
All right, I mean that's fair. That's definitely fair. But okay,
Well,
same with you,
well, let
Jerome.
me ask.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, I want to ask Junior two questions here because I actually thought about something from a different perspective. Junior, do you get an allowance?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have to tell us, you don't have to run us the numbers. Okay, so let's pretend they come out with Squirrel with a Gun too. Okay, and they kind of do the same thing that they're doing here, not as high, right? But like, let's say you're missing some features, like you can't pick up certain things, you can't craft certain things, you can't do certain things unless you buy the $50 edition, right? And Squirrel with a Gun is probably not even worth 30, right? How would you feel as a gamer or as a consumer? I would like to know just your opinion as a consumer.
I'd be very pissed off that I would have to pay $50 just to get certain items. If I'm gonna pay 60 for the game, I want to at least have everything. I'm not gonna spend another 50, spend 200, and then I'll be done with the game within a day or two.
And that's a real good point because
Yeah.
when you're playing video games, especially something like that, I'm not saying those games are bad because they're smaller. They're good because they are smaller, so they can do more. You can have more fun with it, and you can create your own fun. Now, going into what I was asking before, when you start working, Junior, do you think gaming will be a part of your leisure time, or will you be spending your time like outside, spending your money like on movies or something else? Like, would something else captivate you? How do you what do you think?
Depending in the future on how these gaming pricings, I'm gonna try my best to stick with gaming, but the way the gaming prices are go up, might have to find a different hobby. Because, like I said, I'm not gonna spend 2 grand on a console, not get a game, and then possibly spend another 200 just for a full game.
And that is the problem, people.
Yep.
Straight from the horse's mouth, the next generation.
Yep. And
Let his words
I like
stick to you.
I agree with that 100%. You know, and that's sad because a lot of us grew this especially me and you, Galaxy. We're getting up there in age. I'm a little bit older than you, but we've grown up with this stuff. This is what we've had. This is like a lot of us had multiple hobbies, but the thing we always returned to was gaming. Like I've music and gaming. You could ask my son, you can ask my brother, you can ask anybody that knows me. It's always been music and gaming. Those were my hobbies, and I still play my guitar and stuff. I still mess around, but I always go back to gaming. So this is what we've grown up with, and the fact that my son just said, if this stuff is going to keep going up in pricing, he's going to have to find a new hobby. Right? I mean, that's like you said, right from the mouth, man, from a young child that all he wants is gaming stuff. All he wants is video games, and he'll get his allowance to go buy video games. He'll, like I said, he'll waste money on. He likes the game. I still Squirrel with the Gun. He likes it, but stuff like that. You know, maybe it's time we start focusing on, instead of AAA titles now, maybe see, hopefully, the indie guys make decent games that aren't so expensive, right?
I mean that or MMOs, because and not all MMOs are worth our time or money, but there's some good ones. And World of Warcraft is not just sustainable. They just have a hardcore fan base. They have a tight knit community. They have, and I think that's actually really important. Community is what creates gaming. You know, even with Junior, with how much he loves Squirrel with a Gun, should there be a community for it? Which I know there is.
I'm
Right,
sure
there's a
there
community
is.
out there
I'm sure there
that
is.
keeps that right, and that's what keeps gaming going. It's not the money, it is the people that keep it going. There are modders out there that are still playing Left 4 Dead now. You know, Left 4
Mm-hmm.
Dead, you can consider that a dead game, but on Steam, the mods, mwah, chef's kiss,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You got Minecraft that's still going to this day. They're making all kinds of side stuff for Minecraft. Why? Because people had started making mods for it, they started having fun with it, and it keeps reigniting the imagination. I'm sorry, you cannot beat older games when they have a strong fan base, when you
Yeah.
allow them to fan. When fans can fan, that's when they feel comfortable.
And it goes back. You're saying that it's got the dedicated community for it. Look at Destiny; they're still fighting for it, even though PlayStation's about. They already started laying people off for Bungie. And it's funny because the people they're laying off is the Destiny crew. It's like, really, guys? But we knew that was going to happen because they're really pushing for that marathon game to do good. See, I can't. It's not even that great of a game. I can't remember the name half the damn time. But I'm serious. But it's like things are going up, and that's what's going to start hurting the community. And that's where it's going to come to a head where everybody's just going to be like, I can't buy it. And then these people that are laughing, these people that are laughing that are going to pay for this, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're not making no money. We're losing a lot of money. And that's, I think, what they need the realization, because there's a point we're going to get fed up. There's a lot of things going on in the world that people are getting fed up with, and we, like I said, all have our hobbies. We all go to gaming. That's what helps us out. But when people start doing that stuff with gaming, then that's going to hurt them, and then they're going to see how we feel.
And I think it's actually interesting that you even said that. There are people laughing all the way to the bank, because you also have the people who are also being paid to hype these things up, or even just speak good of them. And they're just not, their voices are not going to be heard anymore. Like you said, we're at a point where we've been at a breaking point. Man, I think the levee just broke with GTA 5 and with this next thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
You have shills that are making fun of people who are complaining about this, calling us brokies, but we're being realistic. You have to ask yourself, how much is something worth? It has nothing to do with the lack of money, because even if let's pretend I won the lottery and I'm sitting on a cool, 500 mil.
Yeah.
I'm still not gonna drop, $200 on a game that I'm only gonna play like maybe once or twice a week, because no matter how you slice it, that's a waste of money and waste of time.
Exactly. Like, I get it. And a lot of these people, especially that are sponsored by some of these big game developers and stuff, they're laughing, and sometimes they get the stuff for free. Like all the GTA people, the Call of Duty people, they get the stuff for free. So I don't know why they think it's funny to laugh at us, the ones that are struggling to do all this. But it's like, it's not the fact we're broke, okay? We're not broke, but we do have a limit. There's got to be a limit to everything. And it's like, especially now, Xbox just raised their prices again. And it's like, it's still, the Xbox Series X is nowhere near as bad as the PS5 Pro, but still $800. Like I said, people are going to have a lot of issues with like paying that now. And it's like, and the Xbox Series S, that's $500. That's okay.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I like the Series S. It is a great $300 console. That is as much as I'll pay for that, $300, because it's lacking a lot of oomph. Like, it can do some stuff good, 1080, 120, but everything else, what it could do, it can touch 1440 a little, but it struggles with a lot of things, and it's like, that's a good $300 console. You're gonna want the Series X. You're gonna want the PS5 Pro, and that's the problem that I see. We are at $800 with tax. It's gonna be like $880 for the Xbox Series X. So, well, it depends on where you live. Some people it's more. Some people the tax might be less. Same with the PS5 Pro. You buy the Pro for $900. You want the disc drive, and then the tax and everything. That's gonna be almost $1,200. So.
And you while we're on the subject, I'm really happy you started talking about this, because I've been itching about this, right? So, as you all know, I talked about it at least a couple times, and maybe you probably don't know. I have the Halo Infinite Xbox, right? And that thing's only like 1 terabyte. Nice. I was thinking to myself, maybe I get like another Xbox at some point, one for like my mom or my sister, something for them to play when I leave the house. Because obviously I'm going to move out. We're going to be separated. My little sister's going to want to play Gears of War with me, things of that nature. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and get her like a 2 tera.
Yeah.
And not think about it. And then I can upgrade my own, whenever I get to that point. And then I just heard that they sunsetted the 2 tera, or they're sunsetting the 2
Yeah, it's
tera,
gonna be
which
gone.
I was like, yeah, and I was all like, huh, that's interesting. And I thought about it, I'm like, dang, I should have bought one because now I can, resell it. But that's not even the point. The point is they already know, and I'm gonna touch on this real quick.
Go ahead.
Xbox is dead. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I am so burned on Xbox as a console. Yes, I already have my console. I'm already set. Now, the one console I don't have is PlayStation 5, and I don't even think I'll ever get a PlayStation 5 now at this point because their prices are not, they're not going up, but they're going to become scarce this holiday season. And I said, excuse the heck out of me. So there are going to be people that are going to be scalping the crap out of it, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that Sony's not going to make as many for the holiday season, which is going to make them in resale if you don't. And this is how people get around certain things, and you guys are actually super smart for doing this, and my hat goes off to you. But I can't always do this. You buy them from third parties to ensure that that company does not get their money. You
Mm-hmm.
guys are the heroes in my heart, and they're screwing you guys over here because scalpers are going to start selling it for even more what these things are worth.
Exactly, and that's crazy. The fact, yeah, because imagine what that 2 terabyte would have been if they weren't gonna sunset it, man. That would have
Oh
been
yeah,
that would have probably been up there with the 900 range with the PS5 Pro. Because
absolutely.
honestly, I think it's the 2 terabytes in the Pro, and I think it would be the 2 terabytes in the Xbox that would raise the price up because them SSDs are super expensive.
Mhm.
So I think yeah, that's what drove that price up. So I understand why they're doing that. They're getting rid of it, and
Well, there's another purpose to it. I really think there's another purpose to the price hike, especially this one specifically. And you talked about Helix a couple times, and I think I'm going to dog the hell out of Helix this time. This is going to be the price point, guys. You know, when you say
Just a heads up,
1,500,
now because you know this is gonna happen. He is an Xbox fan because they're gonna think you're a Sony pony because you're dogging Xbox. But go ahead.
oh no, no, no! I am an X. When I said I bought the Halo Infinite Edition, I didn't care if it was going to be garbage. I was buying the Halo Edition. Every Xbox I bought, with the exception of the original, has always been a Halo one. I've been a Halo fan and Xbox since the beginning. Do not get me twisted, my friends. Do not get me twisted. Okay, I have been here since the beginning. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
was there when they had the Jet Set Radio, the Sega Racing, whatever crap game 2002 edition. I was there when the rules were written. Do not play with me, my friends. So when I say that Xbox has lost their freaking minds and they're trying to gear us up for $1,000 plus price range, believe me when I say Helix will be up to $1,500 for extra storage with no game. Mark
Mm-hmm.
my words, it is going to happen. Maybe not upon launch, but maybe on the next cycle. Remember, Gen 2s are the best time to buy consoles. That's when they fix the hardware issues. If you don't remember the PlayStation 3 days when those things were overheating, the Gen 2 cycles are
The
what got those fixed.
360.
Yeah, and then the 360 Red Ring of Death. See, again, I was there when the rules were written. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you should have been there. It wasn't until the third cycle of the 360 where they saved the buy.
Yep. And that's another thing a lot of people don't look at because so I mean don't get me wrong, they've been getting a lot better with the first runs, but still they especially this the Helix is going to be a whole new breed. So we don't even know what the heck's going into it. We don't even know what it looks like. So and that's could cause more problems like the PS6. I think they're still running with the vapor chamber stuff and uh,
Hmm.
but with the Helix, I don't think it's gonna be 100% different. Like it's gonna be beefed up like the Series X, but it's gonna have a Steam app on there where you could possibly run like how they have the Game Pass on the PC. That's probably gonna be like that for on Xbox, but that's still gonna be a little bit more oomph. But yeah, some of these games, like you said, that storage is what's going to be the killer. And then, of course, they're going to have the little additional storage you can put into it, which what the 1 terabyte extra storage for the Series X that was like what 150, almost 200, right?
Yeah, that was $150 on launch, and I was actually going to buy that because I'm like, okay, that's kind of reasonable because it was solid state. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're in an era where that's not, that those. And I want you guys to understand the pattern here. Don't just look at the past of the pattern. Listen to their words. Listen to their words. When they say Project Helix, and then they use, if you hear PC anywhere, Equal PC with expensive.
Yes.
Okay, hear me out. Whenever you have a console, right, and you get into discussions about PC, don't listen to people that they're like, oh yeah, it's affordable now. It's affordable. That's no longer the case because there was a point where you can put like $500 into like a gaming PC and be okay for at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
So you get your money up in the upgrade. We're no longer in those years anymore, my friends. When you hear PC and combining like hybrid with like a console, just know that these companies are already aiming for the $1,000 price mark, and they are trying to. I don't know if you understand the frog in the water, the boiling water analogy. That's literally what's happening to us.
Mm-hmm.
They're slowly cranking up the heat on us until we get to a point where, like, okay, sure, I will drop 1,200 for this console. Sure, the Xbox last generation was crap. This is going to be way better, right? And I'm telling you that the stuff they're going to use for Helix, most likely going to be stuff that maybe would have been great maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and then they're going to put a higher price tag on it, and they're going to expect you to buy. They will look in your face, smile, and tell you it's the best thing in the market.
Well, prime
The
example.
only
Look at the Steam machine. Look at what's coming. Look at all the setup with the Steam machine. Look at that. The highest one is like
Yes,
$1,400, and it can do 4K 60. Now think about that. 4K 62 terabyte. All right, that's 1,400. All right, they're gonna want the new Xbox. They're gunning for that new Xbox to be running 4K 120 and do all that stuff. Do you really, unless you guys think unless you really think they're just gonna use, they're not gonna use top of the line parts for that then, because
absolutely not.
so if people are like, it's gonna be this, and that, no, and it's like I said, I'm not dogging on it, but that the Steam box is already 14 with the 2 terabytes and the top decent stuff, So that Helix to run all the stuff that you want it to run, that's gonna be up there too. That's
Absolutely. And then look at the Switch 2. I mean,
mm-hmm.
and you people will say, oh, yeah, Switch 2 is not part of this conversation. Yes, it is. Nintendo used parts that are older than it should be for the Switch 2. You're telling me that the Xbox is not going to do the same? And it's not like they upgrade the parts as years go on. Remember, I want you to remember that technology moves faster than even what Glitch or I are used to, right? Like almost every day something new comes out, something, oh, well, more of this or faster memory that or better connections here and there, and everything's always improving. That's cool. That is great. That's awesome. But guess what? Your console's not doing. It's not changing. It's not evolving. Whatever they come out with then is going to be that for the next 6 to 7 year cycle, and that's what you're going to be paying for at the 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 price range. And then if video games are going to be $80, $70 with little to no content, so they can bend you over backwards to make you pay what used to be the special edition, the mega edition, the one where you get the statues and the art books and stuff, and they start getting you to pay that for normal price for gaming. And Junior, I am so sorry I took this over, but this is what we used to do, right? We used
He's
to stand
looking up.
online
He's looking at the Steam machine. He's looking at it because he was like, he looked at me. He's like, "What's the Steam machine?" So I gave him my phone, and he's looking it up right now. So he's kind of already occupied, which is fine.
Okay, no, good,
But
good.
look, remember 15 years ago when games were like $60, and they went from $50 to $60. 50 to 60, we were like $60, dude. I don't know if I can pay that. That's going to be a little much. And then it went from 60 to 70. So it's like,
Hmm.
this is what's ridiculous, dude. And like I said, I'm not dogging people that want GTA 6 because this is what stemmed this whole thing. Besides the Xbox going up in price, GTA. And it's Nintendo started it. They had a couple games doing the same. And then the next thing too that bothers me is the physical edition. You get an empty case with a code.
Yeah,
They
that.
they claim that's to not to get rid of stop spoilers and all that. And it's like, really, or people getting a hold of the stuff early. No, I think they were just gonna do the digital. because they just didn't want to mess with that, and too many people complained about it. They were getting made fun of too much. That's why they said, "Oh, we'll have a physical out by Christmas time." But it's
Yeah, I saw that. You know what? I've always been extremely vocal since D1 on physical media. And while I was almost considering buying GTA when I heard of the price, I'm like, okay, that's not too terrible. And then I did a little more digging. I was like, absolutely not. I can't believe I've really yo-yoed so hard on the game or a game franchise that I was even remotely excited for, right? And this actually hurts a lot because GTA 6 looks like a lot of fun, right? It looks like it's going to be something. I heard that there's going to be no online for it, at launch,
yeah, not
which
at
I
launch.
blame stuff. Yeah, I blame things like Halo Infinite. I blame games
Hmm.
like Call of Duty that started to do stuff later. It's like, what's the point of, because, and maybe because we're just too old, Glitcher. Maybe we're just too old that we're used to getting what our money is worth. And
Yeah,
now we're getting slapped in the face with someone's dildo. And they're
Eh,
like, okay, go ahead and swallow. And I'm just like,
yeah,
absolutely not.
and
What?
and like he Junior was super excited about. I might get it for him for Christmas because it's like he loves that game. But at first, because he was like, "Can you pre-order it?" And he looked into it, and then I told him what was going on. He was like, "What?" Like, hold on, now, Junior. When I broke down everything to you, what was your response to when I told you everything about GTA 6?
I was pretty pissed off, and I was about ready to fucking just. Because I love GTA. I'm on GTA 5 every day. There's times I'll kick my dad out of the room or the chair just so I could play it. And and once I saw the pre-orders launch, I was talking with my dad. I said, "Hey, can you pre-order me GTA 6?" And he was telling me how there's not going to be online right away, how you're might get half of the game and missing a couple items and missions. And I told him, you know what, I don't want it anymore because if my dad is gonna spend 100 or 200 on a game, I want the whole thing. I'm not gonna sit there and beat the game super quick because I get half of the game. I want the whole game. Like you guys were
Absolutely.
saying back in the day, how you guys got your money's worth. That's what I want with GTA 6.
Absolutely. You should feel like that, especially as a young man in coming into a gaming space that has a ceiling that's
Exactly.
even higher than us. And you should feel like you're welcome there. But what these companies are doing, they're making us feel like we're just pay piggies.
And
I think there was an OnlyFans person that coined that, and I absolutely love that, and I'm gonna use that forever now. We are Rockstar's pay piggies. We are Xbox pay piggies. We're PlayStation pay piggies. It doesn't matter where you land. It doesn't matter where your loyalties lie. None of that's ever really mattered. That was really for fun, and that's when people really forgot that gaming is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a business where we're
exactly.
getting bent over constantly.
Yeah, and it's like, then the big thing too, like I said, you don't get the physical. Like, that's why I refuse to buy the Switch 2, because physical only gives you the key to download the thing. I'm sorry, no, 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 no. I don't like that. And I know now, let me not sound like a moron, because I know some of the games are doing that now for Xbox and PlayStation. It's not the whole game, or it's just the license on there, but they're giving you the disc so you feel better. But still, that's why I'm starting to have issues with a lot of these companies now. Like, I've been on PC for a while now. Like, I barely have gone on my PlayStation. Like, I want to get Wolverine. I want to fuck with Wolverine, but I don't even know if I want to do that, because I'm not going to be able to own the game, because I feel the newer games are starting to do that stuff. Like, if I lose internet connection or something on my PC, all my games on my library will play. Zero problems, because they're mine, and
And
they
that's
go
beautiful. That's beautiful.
and
Yes.
they go with me wherever I go. But hold on, Junior's got what's on your mind, son?
And bring it back to something earlier my dad told me about PlayStation. With GTA 6, and if you actually do buy it and you take your time, it's mostly for the adults. You guys work a lot, and with the new PlayStation update, if you're not on GTA 6 within that 30 days, your $200 is gone. They delete it and you have to restart that. And that's the thing I hate about PlayStation.
Well, it's not restarted. It locks you out until you log back in and verify the update. But I get where you're coming from. Yeah, that's kind of an
That's
annoyance.
goofy.
Yeah, like with the new PlayStation update, with some of the newer games now, if you buy it digitally, after 30 days, it locks you out. And then you have to connect online again or make sure you're online to start that and redo the license. And that's an every 30-day thing now. So, like,
That's retarded. Okay, so, and this is me just thinking, because like I literally just went to a time, because I actually had this happen to me before, right? Where my internet got cut off because either like we fell behind the bill or like something happened where like the net just like goes down, right?
yeah.
And you're telling me that video games, something that you play recreationally to help kill time, you can't do anymore
Yep.
without the internet completely?
Mhm.
I mean, like, I thought it was bad before that you couldn't update, like, you couldn't play certain games unless your system was updated, which to me was already the line. That, and I got that, and that's when I got the Xbox, the new one, because at the time, we were actually in between moving, so we didn't have internet, so I wasn't able to play my Xbox One when I first got it.
Yeah.
So tragic, right? I was so excited to have it, I couldn't freaking play it. I couldn't even open it, right? So now you're telling me that I have to stay connected. You're telling me, like, okay, it's fine if you pay your bill, whatever, right? That's your situation, right? I'm not just speaking out for you. I'm speaking out for people that live out in the boonies,
Yes.
right? People that don't have the greatest of internet. I'm
Me.
talking about people that have to used to use satellite internet. That was a nightmare.
Oh, my God.
You're telling me that if my connection, goes down, if there's like an outage for like, X amount of days, or if like Junior said, you work and you forget and your outage is like on the 30th day, you have to wait to touch your stuff.
Yeah, you got
I
to
know it's like a
Yeah,
no.
and it's like, remember
No.
when everybody had a field day about Xbox talking about that? Back
Yeah.
when and Xbox One and PlayStation did it. It's like I will defend the Xbox on that because nobody really complained about. I didn't see a whole lot of complaints about that, and to me, that's annoying because I know PC. I don't know. I might be wrong because I haven't had that issue, but I know PC had it for a minute. But now I never have to check in and do all that. None of my games get locked out. Like I'm constantly on it. But I've never heard anybody say, as of lately, Steam does that. I don't have that issues. And that's what sucks because these consoles are starting to become PC prices. At that point, you should just get a PC.
Well, see, that's the funny thing about that is, and I think that's what Rockstar is trying to discourage. That's why PC players are not getting GTA 5. They're basically trying to make consoles the new PC prices, and then they're going to start dropping games like that, specifically on PC. Now, I don't know like all the inner workings, behind it, but I feel like that's the play, is to kind of get people moving toward console like any way possible.
Yeah.
And that would be the shtick. It wouldn't just be exclusivity anymore, especially if everything's going to be on PC. They might pull a Bandai. And I'm not saying Bandai should do this because I don't know. I guess like waiting like an extra year or two for a game, especially to be localized, and I guess it's fine to like an extent. It's whatever, right?
Yeah.
But when you have a game as hot as GTA 5 dropping and it's only for the consoles,
6.
and then you have to wait, or excuse me, yes, GTA 6, and you have to wait extra time, you might just run out and buy a console. I can actually see people trying to buy consoles now just to get GTA 6 if they're not already set up. And I'm actually at a point where, I already got my Xbox. I'm not going to buy myself a PlayStation 5, even though I kind of wanted to. There's no real games that really drive me to buy a PS5 anymore.
Like I said, I'm looking towards Wolverine, and that's pretty much it. Like, excuse me, but to be real honest, my 2 games that I was really waiting for came out earlier in the year, and the biggest one I'm waiting for is Gears E-Day. Yes, I want to play Wolverine because I love the Spider-Man games, but I don't know, dude. Maybe it's because the pricing of everything, and like Rockstar had a fit on PlayStation because PlayStation was advertising it's going to be the best, and Rockstar, this is why I think a lot of people roasted Rockstar too, is because PlayStation was like, play it best on PlayStation, and they had a picture of the PS5. And then they said play it best. Well, they removed that, and then they started putting them back because they were putting the disc drive version up. They were putting disc drive PS5 up, and they're like, no, take it down so it could only be the digital one. And I think that's why people were screaming. And it's like, that's what I don't like too, is don't force us to all go digital. All right, a lot of us like physical media. I like having my stuff physically. I mean, yes, I'm playing on PC. We do all digital now, but at least I can still play that when I'm offline and stuff and have zero problems. So,
And you know what? I think that's important. You know, it's not just like being offline. It's just having the darn thing to play whenever you want.
exactly. And it's like, I like to have the physical media. And like I said, I know as of late, a lot of the games are just the licenses on the discs, which is heartbreaking because I know that's their sneaky way of trying to screw us over on that too. So, and like I said, gaming is going to be really screwed here for a long time. And I'm sorry, it all goes back to AI. Because I'm sorry, none of us asked for AI in our gaming. Nobody did. That was
Okay,
something.
well,
Go ahead.
I felt like no, it's just that I felt like AI just kind of accelerated what was already happening. If I'm going to be honest, because this was already the track that we were on, but before AI was ever, you know, an actual issue. I think AI just accelerated it and created a bubble to where this is what we're seeing. And even when the bubble pops and everything, you know, everything starts to come back down, gaming will be one of the things that just stay up there because the companies think they're still worth these things.
Yeah.
Because they're going off a high of the golden age of gaming, which we're well past.
And that's what is going to be the problem because when it starts coming down, they're going to think it's okay to keep charging these prices because people were paying it before. People paid it, so why do we have to drop it? It's what we've been saying this whole entire time. If we start speaking with our wallets, that's going to really... Now, don't get me wrong, if the technology is good, the technology, not AI, the technology that they're putting into this thing, because AI, you program it to do a certain thing and it'll do it. And it'll make it look a certain... No, the graphics cards, the CPUs, everything that goes into it. If that technology is worth that dollar amount, then yes. But when you've got just really good stuff in there and then you're slapping AI on it to make it look pretty, then no, I don't want to be spending... Like, I was looking at... Now, this is going to hurt your chest like it hurt mine. I was looking at a PC build, a Ryzen 9, a 5090, I think it had 2 to 3 terabytes worth of SSD, 32 gigs of RAM, DDR5, and all that. This thing was on sale. You say $500, it was $9,500. That's a problem. $9,500 because they want to shove all this into this AI stuff. And this is why things are so damn expensive. That's why the Xbox went up. That's why PlayStation went up. That's why, you know, PC stuff is going up because they're so focused. And that's what's going to become crazy now because AI, these guys are just going to rely on AI to fix this stuff. Like GTA 6, when you buy the $100 edition, you'll get the complete game and a free month of GTA monthly. So it looks like they've got that monthly subscription thing you got to pay once a month too. So not only are you paying $100, but if from what I read right on the $100 edition, it said it said 1 month. Junior, it said 1 month of GTA Online or something. So we got to pay the one. Now, okay, Junior, this one is you because, like I said, I might get you this game for Christmas, but are you going to want to pay the monthly subscription?
No, because the GTA 5 subscription right now is already overpriced. And GTA 5, I don't know when it came out, but it's probably a really old game. The only thing that's worth buying in the game is probably the shark cards, but for GTA 5 monthly subscription on my console, I have to pay $15.99 every month. So I am scared to see GTA 6 monthly subscription since the game is just $100.
Yeah, see right there, $15 for GTA 5. And then they're going to have the monthly. That's, man, this is getting ridiculous. Like I said, just talking about the $100 dish, it just, this, everything going up. Everything going up. It's, I'm saying, and the crazy thing is, like I said, people are going to just be like, oh, well, you're broke. You can. Guys, this is where everything is going to start hitting now because people will see that we will pay these prices. Look at the season passes. Look at that. Back when the PS3 and 360 era was out, the first game somebody ever walked up to me on asking for if I wanted to buy the season pass was a game called 99 Nights. It was like a Dynasty Warrior. And they walked up to me when I bought the game. They're like, do you want the season pass? And I was like, what the fuck's a season pass? They're like, oh, it's just a bunch of add-ons. Now, at first, it might have been add-ons, just a couple of little different things or whatever. But then people started getting more into it and started doing it more. And then that's when, like I said, you had to buy the season pass to get endings of games. Dead Space 3. And then the microtransactions came, and then the simple $60 game. Like, I think with everything with Destiny 2, like I said, I love Destiny 2. Everything with Destiny 2, I think is like, almost $500 for everything for that game? Okay, that's... Now, imagine what the next run of games are going to look like. And that's pretty much... And to the people listening, look, you want GTA 6? Go ahead. Do what you got to do. No problem. That's your money. Spend it the way you want to. But just realize that this is the fall of gaming and we're helping it. We are going
No, bump that. I am shaming you because you are the reason. No, tell it like it is. You guys are the reason that things are the way that they are now. And it's not just the GTA 6 fans. I'm talking to my Pokemon fans. I'm talking to those who bought the Switch 2. I'm talking to those that are buying into things. I'm even talking to like a passenger myself that try to justify just being a consumer. Turn your consumer brain off. Use your brain for 30 seconds and ask yourself, is it actually worth it? And only then is it okay to go ahead and buy those things. I don't just mean like actual money-wise. I'm talking about value and time, right? If you're playing a time sink game and all you're doing is grinding for one piece of loot that's barely even worth it, or a piece of a cosmetic that looks okay, you just sit down and ask yourself another question. Is this worth my time? Is this worth my money? Is this worth my sanity? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't play grindy games. Grindy games can still be fun, okay? And there's some people that just live for the challenge. You people I respect the most.
Like Destiny 2 and Division 2, those are my two main ones.
Absolutely. But you have to ask yourself, is paying $100 for a game worth it? Is paying $200 worth it just to get the normal, step up? Is paying extra money for a console that's already 6 years old worth it? As much as I want people to play Xbox, as much as I want people to experience Halo, especially the original trilogy before they started changing everything with the bisexual lighting, right? Because the purple, it has to be color purple. I will stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough that the original game holds the actual charm, and that changing the colors in it just really hurts it, right? There's just something about Halo looks mystical with all those colors and the way it looks, right?
Yeah.
When you start changing those things, you start pulling back, you start taking away from gamers, and people still buy it because it just has that logo on there, you need to stop your brand loyalty and ask yourself two very important questions. Is this worth my time? Is this worth my money? And if it gets both yeses, not an immediate yes either, I want you to sit down and think about it. If you sit down and think about it and go, wait a second, maybe not, then don't buy it.
Now,
I was
going to say, I had a thought when you were going. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay, go ahead.
But here's the thing now. With the GTA 6, when you made the statement, is it, the grinding? Yes. Now, people are going to jump on here and they're going to be like, well, yeah, you're more around $100 for how many hours? Like, that's fine. I get that. But we're talking about that $100 for a game that's only 15 hours long, because they see that we're paying these prices. That's what he's upset about. We're not upset about the fact that you're going to pay $100 for GTA 6, and we know you're going to play that for a good solid year. You're going to do whatever. That's fine. That's that grind that you work on. I grind on the Division 2 still and Destiny 2. What we're getting at is when these companies see that, okay, well, they're paying $100 for this. What if Resident Evil 10 comes out? What if Resident Evil Veronica comes out and it's a 12-hour game and they want $100 for that? That's what we're getting at. That stuff is going to start.
120. They're going to say 120 because it's double the value of GTA.
Yeah, because that's what they're going to start implementing. That's what,
Right.
So that's what we're getting at. We get it. GTA 6, you're going to have a long time to play with. You're going to have a long time to play. Like I said, at least that $100 you will get your money's worth. It just sucks because what will happen after. It's these grind games that we all play. Yes, you get your money's worth, like Destiny 2. Man, I know most that got like 300 hours into it. My Division 2 account, on my PC, my PlayStation, I only got like 60 hours on the PlayStation. But the PC account, I've got over like 250 hours. But the point is, these are games like GTA 6. Yes, you can keep playing, but it's what happens after that, where people,
and then there's no online,
and
and that's what burns me too.
So games that are going to be that we bitch about. Oh, the game's only 8 hours. Oh, the game's 10 hours. Oh, the game's 12 hours. Okay, what we're saying is you start paying these prices because they know you will. Games are now going to be up to $100. That's what's frustrating, that we want people to understand. That's where we need to band together. No, I get GTA 6. Get what you want, man. That's your money. What you do to make your money and what you do to reward yourself for making that money, hell yeah. But remember, our hobby is eventually going to be in danger because they're going to see that we're willing to pay for anything, and that's when we need to band together and say, all right, that's enough. That is enough.
Bump that. Our hobby is dead. I hate to be so morbid about it, but the writing is already on the wall. The ceiling has already been, made, and Rockstar had already made a statement. And there are people that are foaming at the mouth on both sides of the aisle, which I understand their points. I really do, especially for those that are in favor of GTA 6. I would love to buy the game. Hear me out. I'm still excited for the game. I want it to succeed. But what I don't appreciate is getting incomplete games at $100 price tags talking about multiplayer might come out in the next year or two, or it might do this and that. Why am I paying you $100? Why am I paying you any money at all for an incomplete product? You're not going to pay me for incomplete work, right?
Exactly.
You want me to stay on the job site and finish my job, then finish your job. Do your job.
Because who's to say when, people are playing, what if they say, because you got a month of GTA Online. When does that start? Does that start the moment you turn on the game?
No, you actually get a code for it. I learned up on that too.
You get a code
for it.
Okay, so
you get a code for it.
So, and there's the thing. After that, you got to start paying for the online again. So even if you get the regular edition, you got to pay for the online. Remember when games had online modes for free?
Because you already paid through the service through the actual company. So to me, you're paying double. That doesn't make any sense. I was already vocal against Pokebank, costing X amount of dollars when you're already paying for the Nintendo online service. So now you're paying twice for the service. You're paying twice. You're paying the Pokemon company to keep your stuff, which is ridiculous because you could already keep your Pokemon in game, right? And then you have to actually pay for the online service itself, which floored me back then. This is like 2012, 2013. Or no, not 20. 2012, 2013. It's like way back in the day. And now we are in a space where I have to pay 100 bones to get something that's still incomplete, and you're still smiling in my face? Get out of here.
Yep.
Absolutely not. I am so sick of that. That burns me more than anything else. I know you guys cannot see my face, but I am red right now. You can't tell me how pissed off I was to get an incomplete. What game was that did not have multiplayer at launch that I was super excited for? It wasn't Halo, or was it Halo? Yeah, No, I think it. No. What
No,
game was it?
no, because Halo 5 you got to play the online first and then the game came out.
No, that was Infinite. It was
Oh,
Halo 5 that did that in reverse. Halo 5 did that in reverse.
oh my god.
And I could not believe that. Because they were like, oh, it's not ready. Forge is not ready. Forge is not ready. And then they get it ready almost how many years on the road? And I think that was Infinite too. Infinite, I think their Forge wasn't ready at launch, and they gave it to us like almost 3 years later. I'm sorry. No offense to anyone out there, but understand this: our attention spans are not that great anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have games that demand you be a fan of them. I'm sorry, why? You're not giving me what I want a lot, especially for Glitcher and I. We're old enough to remember when games gave us everything on the disc one time, and we
Yep.
were good to go. We were locked in, and
Exactly.
we're not getting that service anymore. So I feel like I'm being shafted.
We didn't have day one patches. We didn't have none of that nonsense. We just put the game in
No,
and played.
exactly. What was on the disc or in the cartridge was right there in your face.
Yep.
And if you wanted more, sometimes there was DLC, or they might just come off the next day and talk about some. No, we did it better. And you know what? I
Yep.
would have paid full price for the upgrade. You want to know why? Because they did do it better. They gave us something better
And
every time.
and if there was something wrong with the game, if you had a little glitch, it wasn't going anywhere. It stayed with you because there was no patches for it.
No, and those are like fun little secret features.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. But at the end of the day, like I said, guys, this is our opinions. This is how we feel as gamers, consumers. This is what, is frustrating us. Because this Nintendo started it, Rockstar's continuing it, and we're helping it. And that's, in my eyes, not a good thing. So, but
And I want you guys to sit down for 2 more seconds. I don't mean to interrupt you, Glitcher, but I feel like I'm compelled to say this.
go ahead.
For those that are buying GTA at launch, I want you to understand a couple things. Number one, you are doing the franchise as a whole a disservice. I
Mm,
want you to understand that whenever it comes out on Steam, whether it be a year or two from now, when the hype dies down, right? Because that's all this is just a hype train gone completely off the rails.
well,
Okay,
17 years,
and
man.
no, that's fair. I mean, that's absolutely fair, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is still hype. At the end of the
Oh,
day,
yeah.
it's still hype. So understand this: GTA 6 will hit a point where it's going to go on sale because they either need to recruit some of their money or they want to sell more copies or whatever the reason is going to be, right? I'm not saying that's the best entry point, but think about gaming like investing. If you're always buying at the highest point, you are always losing your money. You're the ones getting bent over and spanked,
Yep.
right? I'm not saying you should never buy a game new, but when you're being treated like this, it's time to start thinking and buying in sales.
Exactly. And
Start buying
that's
in the dip.
and that's what I've been doing. So, uh but guys, we getting to the end of the show. We're gonna start hitting some outros. I want to start off with Junior. We're grumpy ass old men, so we kind of took the ball and ran with it. So, Junior, do you have any last words you want to say before we take off?
It's not that we don't have the money for the game. We have the money for the game. We're just not gonna sit here spend $200 on a game we're gonna get bored of within a week or two. So
That's
don't
true.
think we don't have the money. We have the money. We're just not gonna sit here, play the game, and like for the people that like to do hardcore and speed runs, you're gonna get tired of that real quick.
Oh yeah, because that's a grinding of itself.
Oh yeah, but Junior, you want to tell people where they can find you and all that? If you got channels and stuff you want to plug?
On TikTok, you can find me at James DH. Uh, I think YouTube is LNB Reacts. It's short for me and my dad's first name.
Which we're gonna start putting up videos for that soon. But other than that, Galaxy Eater, tell people where they can find you and everything.
Y'all already know where you can find me. You can find me on the podcast here with the Glitcher Jr. on Saturdays at 6, 5, whichever your time zone is, right?
Yep.
And you can also find me on YouTube and Twitch. That's Galaxy with an I. So if you don't mind just coming on in, hanging out and chilling and just shooting it about video games, I'm more than open to it.
Awesome, awesome. And guys, you know where you can find me. Go to Attack the Glitcher, which is now the Glitcher Boys, me and my son. We're going to be putting up some more content on there. You can find us on Twitch, the Glitcher Boys, and everything like that. And before we go, I'd just like to say, guys, like I said, it's just our opinions. I know some people are going to get upset about it, but it's okay. You know, you get what you get, you buy what you like and everything. But just remember, that's going to hurt in the end. You don't see it now, but that's going to bite us in the end. So, but, all right, guys, we're going to take off. You enjoy the rest of your Saturday. You have a beautiful Saturday, guys. All righty, and keep a tight ass. All right, bye, everybody.
Face huggers.